So this week I'll be interviewing Vikram Chalana, who will be sharing with you his expert views on the importance of AI in the democratization process, discussing the interdisciplinary nature of AI, as well as addressing other AI-related topics. So just a brief intro. He is a seasoned entrepreneur and with a passion for developing AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning powered technology that give non-experts the capabilities of experts. He's earned a PhD in engineering from the University of Washington. And Vikram is the CEO of Pictory, which is a company that harnesses cutting-edge AI technology to help convert long-form content, such as blogs, webinars, and more, into short videos fit for social media. And additionally, he is the Chief Technology Officer of the nonprofit Turn the Bus and is a board member of the YMCA in Snohomish County. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to hear your insights. And before we get started, is there anything else that you'd like to add about yourself?
Hey Ashika, it's a pleasure being here. I've seen several of your videos and I continue to be impressed at how good they are and how much knowledge you have to impart to the world. So it's really cool to know that.
Thank
A little
you.
bit more about myself. I think this journey of making helping the non-experts do something that was only possible by experts.
Mhm.
I've been on this journey for almost like 30 years now. Even on the projects that I was doing in my grad school days, all
Mhm.
the way to all the jobs that I've had over the years. It's all been around data. Not everything has been around AI or ML, but everything has been on the mission of helping non-experts do something that was only possible by experts before.
Right. That's very cool. And yeah, so this is kind of a good segue to my first question. So in your perspective, why do you believe that AI and ML in particular have a big role to play in this democratization democratization process of giving non-experts the capability of experts? And so, like, in other words, what inspired you to harness AI and ML in your entrepreneurial ventures, and specifically like what is Pictory making accessible to non-experts through AI?
Yeah, so if you imagine like anything that is the whole point of IT in 30, 40 years ago when computer systems were coming into play, the whole point of IT was automation. The whole point of IT was, hey, let people do something that they were not able to do before. And to me, that's been the big theme. So early on, there was not a lot of artificial intelligence. It was just automation. It was, connecting data piece A to data piece B and moving data around or storing data in big databases. So there was a lot of those kind of things which IT has been about. Recently, though, you can imagine there's a lot of now things possible. Algorithms have come up that make things possible that weren't possible before. So as an example, I worked on a project during my grad school days
Mhm.
where we were using we used to call it pattern recognition back then, pattern recognition algorithms to find tumors in CT or MRI images. And the, that was the radiologist's job typically. And we used AI basically trained on a lot of data that we collected from radiologists and use that to predict whether a new image has a tumor or cancer or not, right? So that's a very classic application of AI, and the reason this machine learning algorithms are key to this is you want to train things on the expert's data
Right.
and then apply it on new data
Mhm.
so that a non-expert can use it too. The non-expert is all they might be doing at that point is verifying what the algorithm provides. Or if sometimes even an expert verification might be necessary. But to the expert, you're helping find things that they may have missed. To the non-expert, you're helping them with capabilities that they never had before. So that was kind of in general. That's why AI or ML specifically, it becomes very important here, in that you provide exemplars, you provide training that experts can provide, that brings them into picture. Now, coming a little bit to Pictory, the big democratization that we are trying to do in Pictory is the democratization of creating or editing videos.
Right.
So the experts here are videographers like yourself, right? And you've spent a bunch of time learning Adobe Premiere and whatever tools that you might use. But video traditionally has been accessible only to people who know those tools, people who might have the right hardware, the right software, and the expertise to do all that stuff. If you didn't have those, then you were kind of, you couldn't do video, you could record it. Zoom allows you to record videos, but if I want to edit it, I'm kind of toast. I have to figure out timestamps. I have to figure out a tool that will help me find the right timestamps, cut things out, and if I want to do anything more advanced, then I have to go find a video expert and help do that. And that's kind of what we're trying to do is, okay, can we learn from the experts? Can we take cues from the experts on how they do things, and can we apply them to apply that in software, so a non-expert can create or edit videos too. Right now we're kind of in the beginning of our journey almost. We're starting out, we're saying, hey, we're not using any training data. We're using basically unsupervised AI algorithms, but over time we're collecting the training data, we're collecting data from experts that we'll use to train machine learning algorithms and then put it all together.
Right. And I'm sure that as more and more people use your software, you guys get more of that data that kind of enhances the product too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's very cool. I think that's a really innovative idea, and definitely for video creators like myself, even though I have technology that can do that stuff, I think to make it so much more time efficient and just faster and easier to use using a product like that. And I've used your product for one of the videos on my channel, and it was great. So I think it's an excellent innovation. And so you kind of touched on this in your answer to my last question when you were talking about the project at grad school and kind of how Pictory uses AI. But what does the field of AI mean to you now? And kind of where do you see it headed in the future in terms of like job prospects and relevance of the technology to different industries and things like that?
Yeah, that's a big question, and unfortunately, like the AI is in everything now. Is in so many things. I drive a Tesla. Its self-driving mode is fully AI enabled, machine learning enabled, and it's not like they wrote algorithms for every little thing that when light comes, brake. It's all about training, and when car is in front of you, slow down. So from automotive to, we use Google searches every day. There's AI there. We use the radiology example that I talked about. It's everywhere. So and I've seen like traditional industries getting excited about AI. Traditional manufacturing companies getting excited about AI to use to predict their inventories, to say how much do I need to stock where, and using algorithms for that. So I think it's going to disrupt every field. Some of the most promising applications that we've seen are, of course, like in image or video analysis. Just like what the self-driving car does. But there's been fantastic applications in healthcare. The radiology example that I was talking about. In my previous startup that I'm an advisor to now, we had built a stethoscope on a mobile device, and so a
Oh.
smartphone-based stethoscope,
Mhm.
and so a patient would just put that stethoscope right on, or actually put the iPhone right on your chest, and it would listen to heart sounds,
Mhm.
and and then we would send it over to the cloud to say whether the sound was normal, or whether there was a murmur, or whether there was some other issues in your heart sounds. So that's like an awesome example where you would need an expert cardiologist to do that diagnosis right now, and we were giving that to the patient to do it themselves. So I used to call it the Shazam of heart sounds. So you just basically, just like you listen to the music and it tells you what song it is. So that's a great pace of AI too, by the way. So AI is going to be everywhere for young people trying to get into it. I think learning the basics of it, learning the basics of data science, and the different training algorithms and how they work, and how it can be applied to so many different fields. That's the key here.
Exactly. Yeah. AI is truly interdisciplinary. And yeah, that medicine example is like a perfect example of AI in healthcare and how it can just transform literally so many different fields. I think that's super cool. And so, kind of going off of that, how does Pictory utilize the intersection between AI and marketing to do what it does? Or if you see it kind of intersecting, Pictory intersecting AI in a different field, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So that's a really good question, Ashika. So Pictory sits, I feel, um, between marketing,
Mhm.
design,
Uh-huh.
and technology.
Right.
So we are providing technology which is helping marketing,
Mhm.
which is making the design process easy,
Gotcha.
and the designers is who we are trying to kind of augment. It's like everybody should be a designer, everybody could be a videographer,
Mhm.
uh, and so that's the area that we're kind of sitting in the middle of,
Yeah.
is marketing and design and technology, um, and again, the AI is helping, that we're learning from the design principles and the
Mhm.
marketing principles, and the technology is helping, at some point, create content for you,
Right.
create interesting content for you.
Very cool. Very awesome. And so with respect to AI, what would you say is Pictory's vision for the future in terms of what you guys want to do going forward?
Yeah. So since you've played with Pictory, you can see some of the limitations of it already, especially when you start from text to video, right? We basically today we search for visuals and we try to put these stock visuals together,
Mhm.
and one of the challenges with that, as you can imagine, is stock visuals don't have any thematic consistency.
Uh-huh.
It's
True.
one stock visual right after the other without any themes, or the characters don't, they're not the same between every sentence. So there's some very interesting work that we could be doing around, trying to ensure consistency between the scenes. I could imagine using generative algorithms. So you've probably
Mhm.
seen some of the things that have been going on. Today, generative algorithms are being used in text,
Mhm.
and we've seen them being used in image, some cutting edge stuff to generate images automatically, using themes and stuff. And I can see that those generative algorithms being used for videos.
Yeah.
So anything that can make, and oh, by the way, there's another big area that we want to play in, is more personalization, right? So personalized videos, something that talks specifically to you, maybe even uses your name in a video ad that I create for you, or an
Right.
email video, a video that I email to you. But at scale, I should be able to,
Right.
personalize it for every person who reads that email. So those are some of the things that, we are going to be working on in the future. It's an exciting field. There's a lot of activity that's happening,
Right.
and some of it is very cutting edge, and some of it is of course, the technology exists. We just have to bring it to market.
Yeah, right. I think that's super cool. It would be really cool to see one day if there's without having, because I know that the people who do like stop motion and things, it's just drawing, so people can draw the same character doing all these different things and stitch it together in a video. And so it's kind of like that same, as you said, like theme flowing through. But if there's a way to kind of do that using like AI and have like the same character doing all these different things in the video, I think that'd be super cool without having to like to kind of manually animate a figure every time you want to make it do
Exactly.
something. Yeah, I
Right.
think that'd be amazing. And so like how much do you think AI has like penetrated companies such as like Amazon and Google and Facebook and Microsoft and all these different companies?
Oh, it's everywhere. I mean, those companies that you name, like they are building the AI backbone for the future. I mean, we use Amazon services for a lot of our product, for a lot of services that we use in Pictory, like text to speech.
Mhm.
We use Amazon Poly, and Google has similar text to speech services. There's transcription services. So all of these companies offer the cutting edge AI services to their customers. That's one.
Right.
But then they also use these AI for a lot of the things that they do. Like the reason when I order something on Amazon and I get it the same day,
Mhm.
that's highly AI enabled. We don't even know it, I'm sure, but to figure out where it's coming from and how it's going to get to my doorstep on the same day, there's a lot of algorithmic work going on that we don't know about. I'm sure like Facebook, what you see in your feed every day is fully driven by AI and training on your previous behavior and so on. So it's used a lot, and
Mhm.
some we know because they offer those as services to us, and some we don't even know.
Right. I know. And it's only growing. It's only becoming more it's only permeating society even more with every passing day.
And all companies will want to be like that, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
not just the tech companies that you named, but the
Right.
old style manufacturing companies out in the Midwest, they're going to be using AI, unless they probably already are for a
Hmm.
lot of their their operations and their sales and everything.
Right, right. Totally. And so kind of pivoting a little bit away from that, um, knowing what you know today about AI, and its like applicability to all these different fields, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self, basically when you were younger, in terms of like studying AI or getting into it or courses or anything related to advice for your younger self?
That's an awesome question. I first read the paper on neural networks when I was about 20 or 19 or
Mhm.
20. So I started being exposed to neural networks way back when,
Uh-huh.
but this was before it was called, before what it is today. This was very
Right.
early stages, early days of AI. So um, if I were to go back and tell my 19-year-old self when he first discovered that paper,
Mhm.
is stick with that field, stick with that, learn more about it,
Uh-huh.
and learn about how the algorithms work, learn about the training algorithms, learn about the different applications of the algorithms,
Right.
and uh, I mean, if we know what we know now, how big this could be. I mean, there's tons of things there that I would have advised my 18, 19-year-old self to learn.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for those insights. And to kind of end this off, I thought it would be kind of cool to have like a quick segment where I'll ask you four rapid fire questions where you can just kind of give like one or two word answers based on what you think. So the first one, with an exponential increase of AI tech in society, such as self-driving cars, like what you were saying, your Tesla, and facial recognition devices, which do you think will reach first, a technological barrier or a psychological barrier?
Oh, definitely psychological barrier.
Mhm.
Yeah, tech advances every day.
Yeah,
Psychological barrier is what's going to hold us back.
wonderful, wonderful. And so which is a more pressing challenge today? Ethics in AI or accuracy in AI predictions?
Ethics we're just starting to cover, so I think that's the challenge that we need to address. Ethics.
Cool. And which of these roles will be more relevant in 5 years, do you think? Data scientist, machine learning engineer, or do you think both could be gone?
I think data scientist is not going away, neither is a machine learning engineer. But I think data scientist as a broader uh, expert is going to stay. I see an ML engineer as a specialist data scientist.
Right. Okay, cool. And then this last one, you are an intelligent AI. So this is a scenario. You're an intelligent AI bot, and you've just been placed at the entrance of an airport. What is one creative thing you tell airline passengers entering the airport when you see them?
That's a tricky one. That's a really tricky one because I would tell them that, hey, I will be driving the airplane, and you'll be much safer in it
Mhm.
than if a pilot were driving it.
Right.
But we talked about the psychological barrier. That's gonna actually freak people.
Yeah. Very true. Good answer though. Yeah. Um, and so so this is not a rapid fire, but if you can think of one more person as awesome as you are who I could potentially interview on this channel, who would it be?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question, and I know a person who would be really amazing for you to talk to. He's also in Seattle,
Mhm.
and he runs a company called AI Dynamics.
Oh, cool.
It's a company in Bellevue, and the reason I think he'd be really cool for your channel is he's building a platform that he calls the AI for AI.
Oh, wow.
So his
Mhm.
platform actually, like, so because you know the ML models, the AI models. There's a bunch of different types of models, right?
Mhm.
And part of the machine learning scientist's job is to pick the right model for the right problem.
Yeah.
So his AI actually automatically picks the
Oh,
model
that's really
for
cool.
the task.
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
should talk to him. His name is Rajiv Dutt,
Okay.
and he's the CEO at AI Dynamics.
Very cool. Sounds really interesting already. And lastly, how can people get in touch with you if they have any questions or they're just interested in hearing more about Pictory or anything of that sort?
Yeah, I have a my LinkedIn page, and I'd love for you to join that. With visit our website pictory.ai. Contact me on LinkedIn. You can find Vikram Chalana on LinkedIn, and feel free. I'm pretty regularly checking that channel.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll link all of that information down below in the description box. And yeah, so with that, that's the conclusion of this interview. Thank you so much for your insightful thoughts and comments. It was really wonderful having you here. I've definitely learned a lot today, and I'm sure the Academy audience has as well. So thank you again for your time and your insights.
Great, thank you, Ashika. It was great to be here.
Thank you.